I'll just sit down and start then.
Cool, man.
You don't have to look there. But
I don't have to look there.
no, you don't have to look there, but that will let me know if you're telling the truth or not later on. It's got a special lens in it.
Lie detector.
Yeah.
You know, Nikon lie detector.
A Nikon Jeremy Kyle lie detector. But I can see that you're not that Raj, so it may not work on you when it works on Raji's.
Raji's?
Yeah, chavs.
Chavs.
Oh, brilliant, thank you.
Raji's?
Yeah, that's what they call them in Scotland, a Raj.
Oh, Raj.
R-A-D-G-E-S. So if you've got a tune about chavs,
Change it to Raj.
no, dedicate it to the Rajis tonight.
To the Raj.
Yeah, so you saw that how soon that's
I haven't written this song about chat. Guys, do you mind? Guys, do you mind we're doing an interview in here?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
I like him. He's nice. Okay, Jack. Yeah. After your success with your first two albums, according to your bio, you were about to give it up.
Yeah.
Now, you decided to carry on and get your third album Before the Storm recorded and released.
Yeah.
How glad are you that you didn't give it up?
I'm very glad I didn't give it up. It wasn't a giving it up in the sense of, you know, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm done with this. It was just kind of tired of banging my head against a brick wall, and it kind of needed to get to that point where I wanted to get back to writing for the reasons I wrote when I was younger, and for having that same kind of flame rather than doing it. It was becoming the whole system around why I was doing it was changing, and I wanted to go back to something that was a little bit more truthful.
So what were those reasons?
I think those reasons were just I had surrounded myself. I'd come to an end with the people that I was working with the songs that I was writing. My whole life changed. It was, you know, that kind of mid-20s, things change. The reasons for everything you do changes, and so what became things I took for granted, suddenly I didn't take for granted anymore, and things I took really seriously I realized were actually a little bit silly.
Yeah.
So everything just shifted, and I needed to adapt.
Well, as you get older, like life naturally it goes through transitions.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what happened.
It was a cliche transitional period that I just needed to make sure I didn't throw away everything I had done during that period.
Well, you worked hard for that. You wouldn't want to do that, would you?
No, exactly. That's why I didn't want to throw it away, but I thought that I was probably going to have no other reason but to walk away from it, no other chance.
Well, if you walked away, what would you have done instead?
That was the big question, which stopped me from walking away. I didn't really ever find an answer to that, which is why I started writing again.
Right,
I realized this is what I do.
Is there nothing you fancied doing? Sport? No?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be a footballer when I was a kid.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, I played sort of, you know, until I was 15, 16, and I used to play for FC Lugano in Switzerland, and it was what I wanted to do, and then I discovered music and other things, and kind of lost. The one thing I didn't like about sports was the competitiveness of it. It kind of threw me off, made me uncomfortable, I didn't like putting in the discipline because I didn't like what the discipline was equaling, which was competition. So the reason I liked music was because of the camaraderie and lack of competition. You were driven, everybody drives each other to get better, but it wasn't competitive, it wasn't stressful. There was no victory at the end of the day, or loser and winner.
Well, that's quite interesting because, like, here in Edinburgh, I would say that the local music scene is quite competitive, and it is...
Yeah, the industry's competitive.
Yeah.
But the reason you do it, you don't, meet up with friends and jam, and then one of you goes home a loser and one of you goes home a winner.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I liked about it. Then the industry side of it, it is competitive, and it's not the aspect that I like. It's part of it that it's worth doing it because the rest is so good, but it's probably the one part of what I do that I don't like about it.
Well, to be fair, that's what your management's for, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, like they're there to let you
absorb that.
Yeah, they're the bad people.
They're the business.
No, they are the business.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Well, you didn't want to throw it all away. You've earned a cracking reputation with your tracks and live shows from what I've been reading and stuff. I've never seen you live myself. I'm looking forward to that tonight. I hope you're not rubbish.
Yeah, me too now. I hope it wasn't all hot air. I hope
with that rash. Now, some people describe your music as hauntingly beautiful, with your lyrics that flood their soul. Now, what do these reactions to your work mean to you?
They mean everything and they mean nothing, if that makes sense. There's an incredible amount of flattering that comes from anybody, first of all, listening to what you're doing, let alone having an opinion about it. And then if the opinion happens to be positive and nice, it's great. But you believe the good, you believe the bad. So it's kind of good to not let it be too, it's like a nice handshake, that's it. That's how I like to think of it. It's not nothing deeper than that. It's got to be, I like to keep it quite like that, because otherwise, you know, when you get a kick in the face or somebody doesn't say something nice about you, it hurts.
Oh, you take it too personally?
Yeah, if you take things in, like I said, if you believe the good, you're going to believe the bad. So I kind of like to, I appreciate it, and I always respect it, and I'm glad that like anybody gives the time or has an opinion or, like I said, listens, let alone likes it. But I try to just kind of keep on doing what I'm doing, whatever the weather kind of thing, and see, you know, and hopefully people like it, and that's the best thing you can ask for, really.
Well, if you like it, if you let it in too much, it can maybe inflate your ego, or if you let criticism, then it
can knock you down. And sometimes compliments can stress you out as much as criticism.
Yeah.
Even like can give you pressures.
That is a lovely jumper.
Thank you. And that's as far. That's the same thing.
Oh, maybe shake hands now.
Exactly. It's like a good handshake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that thing of. It is a lovely jumper, but there's a lot of people, you know, especially sometimes I get a lot of compliments that a lot of people, it should be to a lot of other people. You know, I'm lucky, I'm in the front line here. I'm the first guy to get shut down, but I'm also the first guy to get told great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if people like my album, that's amazing, but there was a lot of people that made that album. It wasn't just me. So I'm lucky, I'm the first guy to hear a great album. Yeah. I'm also the first guy to hear what a crap album. So that's the kind of deal you make. But there's always a lot of other people there, so I try not to let it get too much.
Well, your albums are not crap.
No, thank you.
I'm 6'4", so my opinion's bigger than yours. So
fair enough.
Just send them my way. Now, like as you say, like fans are everything to any artist.
Yeah.
And every artist is a fan of someone.
Yeah.
Who are you a fan of?
These days.
No, just
in general.
You've got like when you grow up.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you've got your. I'm not saying you've got posters up and stuff, but you've got your life. You're a life fan of someone or something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Like people grow up with the Beatles and they'll always love the Beatles, or I don't know, like Queen, things like that. I don't know why Queen came into my brain.
I know exactly what you mean though. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, who's your grassroots? Who are you a fan of?
The first guys that got me, the first two guys that really got me was Simon and Garfunkel. Made me understand what songwriting was, because I didn't really know what songwriting was until I was 15, 16. I just knew what music was. That was it. I just heard it on compilations or whatever was cool that week at school, whatever. But Simon and Garfunkel was the first time that I heard stories in songs, poetry within songs. And the whole lifestyle behind them also influenced me a lot. I liked the whole, what they represented, where they were coming from, that period in history of the sort of beatnik era kind of breaking through into folk music in New York in the 60s. That all really interested me. And then Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young was a band I sort of figured out at the same time, which made me realize you can do that and still make cool music. Like, it doesn't just have to be folk. You don't just have to use folk music to tell a story. You can bring it into rock, you can bring it into pop, you can bring it into psychedelic, you can add elements to it, and it can still have a good message, a good story, great lyrics, good vocals, good harmonies, everything can be there. So those were the two guys that, and bands like Sublime, funnily enough, which is completely different, it's like a sort of skater band from San Diego. Ben Harper was a big influence on me, Blind Melon in the 90s, and now I like things like, I mean, the new Ben Howard album to me is amazing, the Black Keys. So it varies, but those are the kind of artists that I always think, there are certain times you find artists you know you're going to like for the rest of your life, and you know there's artists that you're going to like for like the next week or two. Which is like, but those are the artists that I just said, I think are all people that I'm always going to, like if their album's on, I'll never take it off. I'll be like, oh, good choice.
It'll always be on your shelf.
It'll always be on my shelf, exactly. Always be on the shuffle.
Yeah, I hope you play on the shuffle.
You were just about to say, I hope you play records. It'll be on the shuffle. I do have records set up. I do have a record player. Oh my god, great record. But all my records are old school. They're like inherited. I don't go out and buy records. That I'm not gonna lie. Inherited.
Is that time over?
No, not at all. Actually, I mean, with the label, we've just been talking about making some records because we went to this amazing shop in where was it? It's called, I think it's in Portsmouth. It's called Pie and Vinyl. You heard of it?
No.
It's this amazing little pie shop where they sell vinyl as well.
Right.
But it's done really well, like beautiful store. And they were saying to us, you know, they take a lot of friends that are in the business. They were saying, oh, everybody selling CDs is dying. But vinyl stores, they're becoming like art stores almost, rather than like music stores. They're becoming like quality. It's rather than going to like Woolworths, it's like going to a really nice bookshop. It's the same thing in the music. And going to a nice vinyl store is special. It's a place you go and spend like 2 or 3 hours rather than just go in and pick up the latest CD.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, that's interesting because the other day there I was in one of the mainstream record stores because I was in the shopping centre and I was trying to avoid the women's shops, if you know what I mean. And when I went in, I was actually disappointed because it's just like DVDs, box sets, Blu-rays, and in the far corner,
music.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't just music. It was just like a little corner that was CDs.
Yeah.
And I came out and I was feeling a bit sad, and I thought it's a shame because when I was younger, when I was collecting like 45s and albums and CDs and even tapes, it was always nice to have an artifact instead of like a digital download. So, do you think maybe the current generation? Do you think maybe they should be? What's the word I'm looking for?
Holding on to it a bit.
No, holding on to it. Maybe the current generation, they should maybe be like acclimatised to like artifacts more than say just having a file.
Well,
something
I think
you
it
can
is
touch
just,
and feel.
I mean, I understand that, and I never, to be honest, even in the times of records and even CDs and whatever, I was never too. I had friends who were so, like that was so important.
Yeah.
The artwork, the record, and that was, to me, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, to me, what was more important was I just wanted to hear the music. Like that, I very much always had that attitude. It's not right or wrong. It's just that's how it was for me. For what I see with this generation, and you know, especially now when we meet younger people and all that, it's amazing what they find out because of the accessibility of music. Like I was kind of lucky. Like what you just said, you go into a record store now and it's a little corner, and I can put money on it. It was probably the only thing that's in the top 40. I don't think you were going to find a Rai Kuda guitar greatest hits or Buena Vista Social Club up. You know, I was pretty much, you're told what to buy. You're told this is what we're going to sell you, sort of thing. And that is a shame, but they don't need that anymore. They don't have, when we used to go to record stores, there was all sorts of stuff. It was like from A to Z, and you would pick it because of the cover rather than because of the video on YouTube, rather because of, you would literally just be like, these guys look dope. Let's see what this is like.
Yeah, that's got a naked lady on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't really have any relevance anymore because what you can find, I hate saying kids because not kids, what we can all find now, sitting in our room or even on our phones in a restaurant, just killing time. You can find music from parts of the world you didn't even know how to pronounce, and bands you don't even know what they look like, and suddenly they're just popping up at you. So I think it's just changed. I think it is more than just a file that we have now. I don't think it has been degraded. I don't think it has lost anything.
Right.
And we do approach it like that, but I don't think we have. I think we've gained so much more. That yes, we don't have the box with the artwork, but look what we do have. It's like
so much information.
I can tell you what that guy has. I mean, sometimes it's too much.
Oh, that's true. Sometimes it's like it's a bit overkill, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit overkill.
Well, right, okay, paragraph 6 is 2 in the morning, you know, like that. And then you think, I really don't like them.
I actually don't like this. I did 3 hours ago. Now
I'm bored. I found out I don't like it. I know too much.
Yeah.
Right, okay, well, you've been on the road for 5 years, I read. 5 years now?
At
bit
least,
more?
man.
At least.
Feels like more, but yeah, at
I'll
least.
tell you what, we'll call it 5 solid.
Let's go for 5 solid years, yeah. 5 good years.
5 solid. What's a good word for solid?
Good. Just go with good. 5 good years.
Okay, 5 years of employment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Since the first time you were on stage till, say, your last gig,
Yeah.
how much have you changed as a performer, as a person, as say, just as Jack?
I think a lot. I think I've actually become a lot more genuine. And that sounds a bit weird to say that, but I think I'm probably a little less humble now, because I've got a little bit of scars, a little bit of dust, a little bit of mileage under the legs, you know, and you realize I might be a little bit, I don't want to say cocky or arrogant, but I know what I want to do on the night, or I know what I want to sing, or I know how I want it to be done, I know who I want to play with, and who to be in the band, and how it should sound, and all these various things. See, where at the beginning, I had more of a humility, because I didn't know really what I want, didn't know what I was doing, was kind of making up as I went along. But doing that, I was also hiding behind quite a big, so some people think, oh, it was more humble back then. Yeah, it was more humble, but I was also hiding. So what you were seeing was not actually that much of the real deal. It was trying to be the real deal, but it was also terrified, so therefore I had a bit more of a facade, and very quiet, very introvert on stage, and not very communicative. And not because I'm introvert, I'm not introvert, as you can see now. Like
I think you are.
I'll talk till the cows come home, really. But it was a way of keeping like a protection.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't have to say, I never said the wrong thing because I didn't say anything. So it was easier. But now I've got a little bit more of a like, whatever, I am what I am. We've come too far.
It's a shame that sometimes it's got to be like that, but sometimes people are maybe a bit afraid to say the right or wrong thing because of other people. It's a shame that, isn't it?
It is, but it's also experience. It's part of life, you know. So I think it's any job you're in. It's not.
Yeah, but do you put down being able to do that because you're successful, or do you think it's because you're a bit older and wiser?
I think it's older and wiser, because I've had moments probably of more success at certain times. I don't think it's ever been due to like that type of confidence. It's been more to do with well, I guess it is. I guess that does have an effect, actually. I guess it definitely does have an effect. But it's more this, for example, with this particular album, everything was done like how I really wanted it to be done. I worked with the people I wanted to work with, the musicians I wanted to work with. I've been able to surround myself with all the people I've met along the road, and just sort of really take the ones that I can trust, that I've worked with, that have never let me down, kind of things. And so surrounding myself with that team, that everybody I work with, I have tremendous respect for. Every note, every movement these guys do on stage, I'm impressed every night with what they do. That allows me to be comfortable. That allows me to be confident, and to be sort of like, this is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but I promise you this is the real deal. This is what it is. So if then you don't like it, that's not can't do anything about it.
And with your success in your music, it becomes noticed. And like you say, you're able to work without whoever you want to work with. But people will be attracted to work with you. Yeah. So how did you find that? How do you find that?
Through a lot of slaps, a lot of punches, a lot of shit happens. It's fine, my friend. You work with the wrong people, you work with the right people, and slowly, you kind of weed out. But that hasn't been easy. It's been bad. I've had cliche horror stories and all that. But that's again, it's like part of something. It's like if you're opening a little restaurant, you're gonna get a good chef in, you're gonna get a bad chef in, you're gonna get a great waiter, you're gonna get a bad waiter. It's gonna change. You just gotta be able to sort of move them out as quick as possible, as peacefully as possible, and get somebody better in.
Yeah, you got to just be straight and truthful.
Yeah, exactly. Which is easier said than done.
Of course.
But and it's sometimes hard to actually realize where the problem is. What is the problem? Sometimes it's yourself, it's not actually them, and sometimes you think it's yourself when it is actually them. So
one thing I've learned over the last couple of years, like doing this sort of stuff, is trust your instinct.
Yeah, it's usually so right.
And it's a cliche.
Yeah.
But don't go against the voice in your head, and as soon as the voice says something, act on it.
Just go with it.
Don't dwell on it, because you just get sick. You become sick.
Yeah. It's incredible how powerful that can be, and how it can slow you down.
Yeah.
How it's like driving with the handbrake. You're not going to crash, but you're not going to get anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's not
going to spend a shitload of money on petrol.
Exactly.
Have you seen the prices?
Exactly. But you'll burn rubber. It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's just not a good thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of rubber being burned in
Yeah.
Edinburgh. Have you seen all these roadworks?
Well, what is that? Is that for, they're putting a tram